Welcome back. This is the second installment of the Fun with Arduino series, and this time we're going to take a look at the software side of things and how to write a sketch or a program and load it onto your Arduino, and we're going to make an LED blink, so it should be very exciting. This time we're going to have a lot of looking at my computer screen, so not very much action, but hopefully it will still be an informative and entertaining episode. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the software side of Arduino real quick. And so we'll launch the app. There are, of course, Windows, Mac, and Linux versions of this, so you can run it on whatever your preferred platform is. So it's a very simple interface, and it's an easy way to get started with writing software. So it's not much of a learning curve. So this is what you basically get. Arduino programs are called sketches, and they have a very simple basic format. You have a setup function and a loop function. Now a function in software is it's a collection of instructions. It's a thing that you do. So think about as a human, turn on a light switch. That's a function. That's a thing that you do, and you can be told to turn on a light switch, and you take a certain set of actions. You walk over to the switch, you throw the switch, and reach out to the switch, you throw the switch. Those actions collectively are a function, so you kind of think of it that way. Now these two basic functions are kind of special. The setup function, anything that you do inside between these brackets, any instructions that you put in here, happen once at the beginning when the Arduino starts up, and only once. So they are to set things up to get started. And anything you put inside of the loop function happens over and over again after the setup is complete. So the program runs through the setup, and then it does whatever's in the loop just continuously until you remove power or otherwise shut down the device. So this is a blank, empty sketch waiting to be written. So I'm going to open a very simple example. There's a lot of examples that come along with the Arduino, and they're easy to access. They're right here in the File menu. So we're going to go for the blink function, or blink sketch. You notice there's a lot of comments in here. Comments in an Arduino sketch, there's two different kinds. One, multi-line comment like this one here at the beginning. You see it's in gray. It starts with a slash and a star, and it ends with a star and a slash, and anything in between is just for you to read. It's ignored by the Arduino compiler, which a compiler is what takes this human readable code and turns it into the machine code that needs to actually go into the Arduino. The other type of comment is two slashes like this is a single line comment. So anything from these two slashes to the end of the line here is also a comment and is ignored. So alright, so inside of this setup function here, which is this, you'll see we have one statement or instruction, and it's called pin mode. Now this is a function call. Pin mode is something that's built into the Arduino library of instructions or functions that it has, and what it does is it tells the code one of the pins on the Arduino how you're going to use it. Or is it going to be an output, or is it going to be an input? So in this case, we're taking each Arduino has an LED built in on the board, and so it has a name for that. It's called LED built-in. So we're saying the pin that's connected to the built-in LED, we're going to make that an output because we want to control it. We want to send something to it to tell it what to do. We're not interested in reading back from it and seeing what's coming in. We want to send a signal out to it. So we're going to do that once during the setup. We're going to create that pin. And then down here in the loop, we're going to use another function that's built in called digital write. And this is how you write to a pin and you change that pin's state or its value. So in this statement, we're going to digital write the LED built-in pin high, which means we're going to apply 5 volts to it, which is going to turn the LED on. And then we're going to delay for 1,000 milliseconds, or 1 second. And then we're going to write a low to that pin. And then we're going to delay for another 1,000 milliseconds. And then this is going to repeat over and over and over and over again. So what's going to happen is the LED is going to turn on. It's going to stay on for a second. It's going to turn off, and it's going to stay off for a second. And so what you can imagine happening there is that you're going to see the LED on the Arduino blink on and off once a second for as long as the Arduino has power. So I'm going to get my Arduino here and plug it in so that I can show you how the downloading and compiling process works. So once you've written your instructions or your code, your sketch, you click the checkbox up here, check icon, and let's see, I'm going to open up this lower portion of the screen is where the Arduino compiler is going to tell you what's going on when you do these things. So I'm going to click that checkbox, and it's going to compile the sketch. It's going to try to take that human readable code that you've written and turn it into the instructions that the Arduino can actually read. Now this was a successful compile, and it'll tell you down here how much of your storage space you've used, how much you have available, how much of your dynamic memory, your RAM, you've used, and how much more you've got available. So that was a good one. Now I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go up here, and we are going to delete one of these semicolons. These semicolons are kind of important because they tell the compiler where the end of the line is, the end of the instruction. All instructions in Arduino code end with a semicolon. Now I'm going to hit that check mark again. You see it gives me an error message. Hey, wait a minute. I was expecting a semicolon before I got to that bracket, so something's wrong here. You need to fix that. And it'll tell you, what line the error happened on. It'll highlight it up here. And so we'll go back up here and we'll fix that. We'll put the semicolon back in there. We'll compile it again. Everything looks good. Okay, now to download, got to check a couple of things. Up here in the Tools menu, we're going to look under Board, make sure we have the type of board that we have. And you can see there's a lot of them. We're using an Arduino Uno, and so I have that checked. That's good. And again, under the Tools menu, we're going to check the port. Now this is which USB port you have the Arduino plugged into. In this case, on a Mac, it looks kind of weird. I think the naming is a little bit easier to understand on Windows, but it does tell you because it can detect that the board's out there. Oh, there's an Arduino Uno attached to this port, so we're going to make sure that's selected. If you don't have the right board chosen, it'll compile it wrong. If you don't have the right port chosen, it won't know how to talk to the Arduino. So while we got those two things done, we're going to click the upload button, which is this little arrow there. And we'll see down here that, again, it compiles it again. And it does the upload. And it'll tell you it's done uploading. Now we've got another tool here called Serial Monitor. Click that on. Now I can't show you right now, but I can tell you that the little LED on my Arduino Uno is indeed flashing once per second. So our blink function is working. So in the setup, we're going to have this thing talk back to us. We're going to put in a new instruction, which is serial.print_line. Now this prints a line over the USB port to this serial monitor, so we'll be able to see this. I'm going to say hello model railroaders. Okay, and then just to make things a little more fun, we're going to go right here and we're going to say serial.print_line on and serial.print_line off. And what this is going to do is each time we come through here, when it turns the LED on, it's also going to print to the serial port that it did so. When it turns it off, it's going to print to the serial port that it did so. Go back here, we have to actually turn on the serial interface. So call this, and if you know about serial ports, you have to tell it how fast the port is sending data. So we put this 9600 in here. It's a standard transfer rate, and you need to make sure that's checked over here. Okay, now we're going to send it down. What we should see now is it'll start. So we have our hello model railroaders, which was created by this instruction. Then we have our on and off statements that are going on, caused by these two instructions. On and off and on and off, and it will keep doing this forever until I turn off the Arduino or reset it. Now, the Arduino has a reset button on it, and if I press that button and release it, then it will start over again. As you can see there, it did our hello model railroaders button again. Okay, so we're going to plug the Arduino in, and this will turn it on. We've already uploaded our sketch to the Arduino, so as soon as we give it power, you should be able to see our LED blinking at a 1 second interval. And on the laptop over here, and you should see hello model railroaders and the on-off pattern being created by the Arduino. And here it is, everything together on the screen and the blinking LED. Okay, that is a very quick introduction to the Arduino code. If you want to learn more, there's a website, www.arduino.cc. That will take you here, and there's everything here. You can buy hardware, you can get software for it, you can learn. There's tutorials and reference information and a playground. There's a forum where you can discuss things with other Arduino users. There's support information, lots of cool stuff here. So this is a good place to go, www.arduino.cc. Well, I guess that about does it for the second episode. And so now we've had a quick introduction to the hardware in episode 1 and a look at how the software works in episode 2. So next up, I think we're going to try to put the two together and write a sketch and wire some things up to the board that aren't on the board, and see if we can make something fun happen. Or maybe we'll do something else. I'll be as surprised as you are. Till then, bye-bye.